Good afternoon and welcome to NCAA.com for the 2022 National Collegiate Rifle Selection Show. I'm Will Haskett. A full season of precision and work has gotten the best in the sport one step closer to a national championship, and this year the Air Force Academy is our hosts of the championship starting on March the 11th with the small bore competition. The air rifle competition is on March the 12th, and as has been the recent trend, it'll be a handful of points we would imagine separating the top teams when it's all said and done. Kentucky's third national championship a season ago was a return to NCAA championships for many, and we expect the same level of anticipation right here in 2022. With individual and team champions crowned across the two disciplines in the sport, every team and individual announced today has a chance to be a national champion. So let's find out who is heading to Colorado Springs, shall we? The 8 qualifying teams are determined by using the 3 highest regular season aggregate scores, and we will go in alphabetical order to unveil the 8, starting with our hosts from Air Force. 20th appearance for a program still seeking its first national championship, and how sweet it would be to get that done at home. TCU is the last school to host and win a national championship in the same year. That was all the way back in 2010. The Falcons are peaking at the right time, posting their best scores in back-to-back outings, both at TCU, with the latter being the NCAA qualifier. They averaged 4,734 aggregate points in those 2 outings, a score certainly worth a threatening for a title coming up at home in this national championship. Alaska Fairbanks is next, 35th trip to the championship for the 10-time winners, fresh off a 47-40 score in the qualifier. And like most of the year, it was a meet performance bolstered by the sharp shooting of freshman Rylan Kissel. He has been the Nanook's star all season long. He owns 2 of the 7 perfect 600s in air rifle this season in the country. He also has 2 of the 5 top scores in small bore, sharing a 596 with teammate Sarah Karasova. 2 top freshmen have led this team to being top-ranked much of the year, looking primed for a first national title since all the way back in 2008. Third team to unveil is Kentucky. The reigning champions of the sport have a lot of things working in their favor to repeat as champions again this year and are entitled number 4. The Wildcats returned the best shooter from the championship last season. Mary Tucker posted the best aggregate in the team competition, then became the first shooter to sweep both the small bore and air rifle individual events since back in 2016. She is back, and Will Shaner has been even better this season, giving Kentucky a 1-2 punch that will certainly be difficult to overcome. An 11.95 aggregate on January 16th is still the best total of any shooter in the country this season from Shaner. So you've got Will Shaner and Mary Tucker. You are looking very good for a potential repeat if you are Kentucky. Fourth team, it's Murray State. A nail-biting last few weeks for the 2-time national champions, but the Racers pulled it off to return to the championship after missing out a season ago. It marks the 34th appearance, 3rd most of any program in the country. All-American Matthias Kuru made it as an individual last year, gets a chance to return with his teammates this season. The Finnish sharpshooter is coming off a career-high performance in the small bore in the regular season finale match. That was part of a 47-13 aggregate for the Racers that likely sealed their spot here in the championship. All right, half the field announced. Number 5 is Navy, the midshipmen returning to the championship after missing the field a season ago, and it's even sweeter to do so on the back of the best score this season, coming in a record-setting day against Army 2 weeks ago in the annual star match. 4 different program records fell in that triumph, including an incredible day from Marley Duncan. Her 1188 aggregate is the best mark ever for the program and 7 points off the season high in the country this year. Next team to unveil, Ole Miss, the Rebels, earning a spot in the NCAA championship in back-to-back seasons for the first time in program history. And this is the product of some veteran experience. A 4-woman senior class gets a great reward to cap off their careers with another trip to the meet where they finished 3rd a season ago. And beyond the seniors, All-American Leah Horvath has another year of experience under her belt. She posted the 4th best aggregate in the championship last year and took 3rd in both individual disciplines as well. A special weekend in Colorado from her could be the key to unlocking a national title for the Rebels. 2 to go. Next up is TCU. The 3-time national champions have finished in the top 3 at the championship meet in 6 consecutive trips and have the scores this season to prove that streak can stay alive in 2022. Tied with Kentucky and Alaska Fairbanks for the best team score in the sport this year. The depth of the Frogs will be the key to another national title. Stephanie Grunso has been one of the best in small bore all season, while Kristen Hemphill makes it an almost identical 1-2 punch in air rifle, a discipline she won the individual national title in at the 2019 championship meet. And last but not least, no surprise, West Virginia, the last team to unveil. The issues of being alphabetically last delay the inevitable for the most decorated program in the sport. The Mountaineers chasing title number 20 this year and have 26 individual crowns as well. Will this team, though, have the shooters necessary to take down the top teams? Molly McGinn has been one of the 7 perfect scores this year in air rifle, 4th in the national championship last season, though, for the Mountaineers. That snapped a 7-year streak of finishing either 1 or 2 in the final competition of the year. But will the Stars align for another top 2 finish and maybe a top finish coming up in a couple of weeks? All right, those are your 8 teams, which will be joined by those who have qualified on the individual side. We will start with the small bore individual qualifiers. There are 5 of them. You see them. Kayleen Castillo of Memphis, Andre Gross from Akron, Victor Kiss from Ohio State, Cecilia Ossie from Nebraska, and Claudia Siegel from Army West Point. And for Kiss, his Buckeyes nearly qualified as a team for the 5th time in program history, and his season high in this discipline came back in mid-January, a 591 in team scoring for him. So we will see if the individual scoring benefits him against the best competition of this season. And on the individual side, in the air rifle, Kiss has company in the 4 qualifiers with his teammate Derek Kaiser in there. Andre Gross from Akron joining Angeline Henry from Memphis and Mackenzie Van Patten from Jacksonville State. Gross earning the distinction of being a qualifier in both individual disciplines, peaking at the right time with his 2 best air rifle performances coming in his last 3 meets. In fact, in the NCAA qualifier this past weekend, his aggregate was 1182, by far his best combo of the season. And in case anybody can't make it from the individuals, here to look at the alternates, 2 in each for the small bore and the air rifle. Emily Cheremy from Nebraska, Derek Kaiser from Ohio State in small bore, and Ariel Hall from Ohio State and Katie Tedeschi from NC State are 4 alternates in case one of the individuals cannot compete or attend. So there you have it, all 8 teams and our individual qualifiers heading to Colorado Springs for the 2-day championship. Small bore competitions for both the team score and individual champions take place on March the 11th, with the air rifle competitions firing on the following day. Air Force is our host, and you can catch all of the action of the NCAA's only competition where men and women compete side by side. It comes your way right here on NCAA.com. Thank you so much for joining us today. Congratulations and best of luck to all the student athletes competing in this year's championship.
There's an energy swelling out beyond the limits of your expectations. A universe where fandom reigns supreme. Once you're in it, it changes you. Instead of one, you're one of many. A blissful sea of chaos. Go beyond your limits and enter the NCAA universe. Get your seats today at ncaa.com/tickets.